Thank you very much for taking the time to talk with me. You're between gigs at the moment, so what's the routine there? Do you just bit of Gatorade? You go on the stationary bike, bit of ice like the boys do at half time?
No, yeah, no, mate. I go backstage and play banjo, and yeah, try not to eat too much. We've got always there's food laid on everywhere, and it's really hard to stay fit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, fair enough. Um,
yeah,
uh, yeah, so obviously, first I'll get my fanboy part out of the way. So I think the Wiggles are the only group that I've been fans of longer than I was a or Balmain Tigers fan then. But yeah, so I mean, your self-titled album came out in '91. I was only 3 years old. You
wow.
must get a lot of Um, I bought it on cassette. My mother bought it for me on cassette tape. Actually, I'm showing my age now, but I remember seeing the film clip of you guys on the ABC when I was a kid, and yeah, my late mum literally went out and bought the cassette for me. But my question from that is, you must get a lot of people come to your gigs and say, "I was a fan of you when I was a kid, and now they're taking their kids."
Yeah, it's great, mate. And it's not just at the shows. Like people your age are now grown up, and in jobs like police
Yeah.
and like even last night when we were checking into Port Macquarie, the lady who checked us in said, "Oh, I went to your show when I was 4." And I only just feel really proud of that. Of course I do feel a bit old, but it's great, mate. It's really good positives. And they say, "Oh, we were a good part of the Wiggles were a really positive part of my life when I was a kid."
Yeah.
Oh, that's great, mate. It's good to hear that, So
Yeah.
yeah, no, I don't get tired of hearing that. I'm really proud of that.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. So that's out of the way. I've obviously got you on because you are a massive West Tigers fan. Just wondering how did you become a West Tigers fan? Because I believe you grew up in more maybe Manly or Bears sort of territory. Is that right?
Oh no, I grew up in Ladle Park, Western Sydney.
Okay.
Yeah, my dad was a Parramatta, absolute Parramatta nut, but my
Right.
grandfather was a Tigers fan, Balmain
Okay.
Tigers, and I used to go with my grandfather to Leichhardt Oval with him when I was a kid, little kid,
Okay.
and sit in the stand or on the hill and watch the Tigers in those days. And I was 6 when Balmain won the grand final, and I still remember the joy in my grandfather's family and
Yeah.
our family because we're all happy. So the Tigers were kind of like my second team because I was out of Parramatta, but I really loved them actually more. But the pressure of the family was Parramatta, Parramatta. So
Okay.
as soon as I left home, which was 1980, I became the Balmain man I always was, and went over to my grandparents' place and never looked back, mate. Except
Yeah. Nice.
it was kind of heartbreaking. The change from the Tigers. It was a bit of a heartbreak because I really did love the Balmain side of things,
Yeah.
and I really respect Western Suburbs too. But it's a great merger. You have to just go with it. But it was a bit of a shock to the system when Balmain. You know what? I think the worst thing was losing the club in Leichhardt.
Yeah.
The club. It's because I used to go there forever, and the Cockroaches, the band I was in, used to play
Yeah.
there. My grandmother used to go. I used to go with my grandmother to the club, and then I took my kids to the club, and every Tuesday I think it was free for kids, and
Yeah.
it's a real community spirit there, and just sad to see it dilapidated for 12 years or how long it's been now.
Yeah.
But,
Well, have you heard the news that West Ashfield are actually going to fund to rebuild it?
mate, that's fantastic.
Yeah, so it
Oh,
should
that
hopefully it's getting back
I
on its
did.
feet. I think Wests have actually merged with the Balmain club side of things, and they've pledged that they're going to try and get it back up and
Oh,
running.
it's sad. That is great news. And West Ashfield is such a great club too.
Yeah,
Yeah. I actually love seeing when we go to Campbelltown and watch the Tigers. I do love seeing the West fans wear their West jerseys and, like the Balmain guys. Because there's the history of the club, It's made up of two great clubs. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
You're obviously on the road a lot, as you are now. How do you keep up with the team? Like, obviously, it's a bit easier these days with live streaming. Might have been a bit harder back in the early days.
It was. It was really hard in the early days. I've got that NRL thing. So I watch the games all the time, wherever we are. But I always buy season passes for me and my son to go to all the grounds. But I only get to about 2 or 3 games because I'm away.
Yeah.
So, which is a real bummer. Like I'd love to be at Campbelltown today, but in the years gone by, like when they made the great run to the 2005 grand final, I was in America at the time, and you just didn't see anything. I don't even know if I was just not believing when I get the news that we won another game. It was just insane.
Yeah.
But I got back to the grand final, which was great, mate. So, it's a lot easier these days to keep up with it. Even overseas now, whether we're in America or Canada or wherever we are, you can actually watch it. It might be 3 o'clock in the morning, but you'll do it. You get up and watch the Tigers. Yeah.
Yeah, technology definitely makes it a lot easier. I was watching a game last year when we beat the Dragons. I was on a subway in Japan, and I just could bring it up on my mobile phone. It was it's pretty cool.
Were you screaming out?
Yeah, I was doing fist pumps because we beat the Dragons, and it was a pretty tough game. I think when Luke Brooks went over for that try, I was doing fist pumps, and I think a few Japanese people, because they're very respectful people too. They're not very loud like Australians. That's so true. I think they'll who's this weird Aussie bloke going off in the middle of the train. But you mentioned 2005. If I heard right that one of your boys was born around the time of the grand final. Is that right?
It was actually my daughter Maria. What
daughter,
happened
sorry.
I was watching the grand. Now I had tickets to go with my wife to the grand final, but she was ready to give birth, so we thought we better not. So I went and watched it in a friends of mine's place. I watched the grand final, and I was almost seriously having a heart attack. My blood pressure went crazy, and I was on the ground. But that made Mickey laugh so much that she went into contractions. It was ridiculous. So then we're living in Drummoyne, and on the way to the hospital, I'm saying, this is terrible, but I did say, I said, can we just drive past the club? So, mate, we drove past the club, supposed to be rushing to the hospital, and the club, and onto Victoria Road. There were people everywhere stopping for traffic. Mickey she's pregnant, right, but she's waving the Balmain flag, or the West Tigers flag out the window.
Wow, that's amazing.
And some yobbo grabbed it off her, which was a real bummer. But then we made it to the hospital, and it's the worst night to give birth because a lot of people just worried about the grand final. I don't know what it was. It was just that there was hardly anyone in the hospital. But we made a pact that if it was a boy, it was going to be named Benji.
Oh, wow.
But it was Maria. Maria came out.
Okay.
But this is another thing I'm not proud of. The next day, John Stanley from 2UE. John Stanley, he's a real Dragons fan, but good mate of mine. He rang up from the radio station. I was, so excited. And he said, mate, firstly, congratulations. And I said, how incredible after all these years. Not since 1969 have I felt like this. And he went, I'm talking about the baby.
That's so good. That is the best birth story I've ever heard.
So it was a really great day. Birth and Tigers.
Yeah. No, that's incredible. Like the odds of that happening, literally. Was the birth time literally hours after the game had finished?
It was, just hours.
Wow.
So I got to see it. Mickey had a real laugh, which brought on. I was wrestling someone on every time there was a try. We'd sort of have a rumble after every try on the carpet.
Yeah.
And then I started feeling my chest was going, and I was going, oh my God, I think I'm having a heart attack. And then she started laughing. Mate, it was brilliant. There was just joy, as you remember.
Oh, imagine! I couldn't imagine. It's like literally the two best things in life you could get: your team winning a premiership and the birth of your child, and literally you got
Yeah,
it in one hit. God, it's like
incredible.
better than
Yeah,
drugs.
incredible, mate. Yeah, it was great.
That's awesome. Flashing forward to this year, how do you feel about the team this year? What do you think our what are you hoping for from 2019 from the Tigers?
You know, I don't want to sound like a pessimist. I'm actually an optimist, but I go to the games after all these years, and I think the good thing about it being a Tigers fan and just being there with, through thick and thin,
Yep.
I never go expecting to win a game, but if we do win, I am so happy. I'm over the moon about a game. But I mean, if I was a Roosters fan,
I was going to say that if
they
Roosters
don't
fans wouldn't
win.
know that, wouldn't they?
Well, if you're a Roosters fan, if they win, well, that's expected to. But so when we win, as you know, Josh, it's just a big moment, mate. Every game, I'm always just happy if they put in a good effort. I'm just happy with that. But when they win, it's a bonus. I do think if Moses Mbye is such a nice bloke. I've met him a few times now.
Yeah,
And
very smart guy too. He's
nice,
very intelligent. Yeah,
he's smart. He's upstanding. He's a good guy to have as a captain.
Yeah.
I that's a good move. I think they're going to be really good. But then in the end, I'll just get another heart attack if I start getting ahead of myself. So I just say, okay, I'll just go to the game. If they win, I can't believe it. It's the best thing ever. So who knows? Every year we think they're going to go well. Nothing happens.
Yeah, I'd be happy with eighth. I said that last year, and we probably should have come eighth because we won half our games. But every year I say I'll be happy with eighth. I just want to feel finals football for the first time again.
Go on the semis. You've got a better memory than me, but a couple of years ago, I was at a game and I was just yelling out to everyone. We were in the semis. I see in the semis. I think it was against St George or someone like that. We got like the last minute they kicked a field goal to a penalty.
Yeah, Jamie Sauer, 2010. Yep.
Yeah, do you remember that? That was incredible.
Yeah,
it was heartbreaking. The semis. Even to make the series, it was just such a thrill.
Yeah.
It'll just be, yeah.
Yeah, 2010 was the one that got away because that was a couple of weeks after the Roosters.
That was it.
The infamous Roosters game. Yeah.
Yeah, that was it. Yep. Yeah. We had Lottie Dakiri that year, I think. Did we?
Yeah, yep. Yep, Gareth Ellis. It was a great side. Yeah, but it was the one that got away, yeah.
Gareth Ellis, I always think of Gareth Ellis and Keithy Galloway as two of the great forwards of the West Tigers. And I really loved when Lottie came, the first thing he did was score a try on the left wing.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed Lottie being in the team too.
He's
really
fun to watch. Talking about another Australian rock legend who also goes for the Tigers. You did a bit of work, I think it was a couple of years ago. Jimmy Barnes, who's also a Tigers fan. You did a song with him. Did you talk about the Tigers with him at all?
Jimmy's a great mate of mine, and he used to love the Tigers, but something to him, which I won't go into, but he had a bit of a run-in with a Tigers legend once,
right?
And it soured his love of the Tigers.
Okay.
So I don't push the Tigers envelope anymore with Jimmy.
Okay.
But Jimmy's the greatest fella walking the planet. He's a lovely guy, and he used to love the Tigers. He just had a unfortunate incident happen once, and so I don't bring the Tigers up anymore.
Fair enough.
I think secretly he still loves them.
I think he does because I went to a book signing. I'm a massive Jimmy Barnes fan as well. I've seen him live 14 times myself.
Yeah.
But I went to a book signing, I got his new book, and got him. Yeah, and I had my Tigers jumper on, and everyone was asking him the cliche questions about culture. So I thought, what do you think of the Tigers this year? And it was just after the Robbie Farah incident, and he seemed a little bit emotional. He said he's really upset about how the things happened with Robbie Farah, which in the end turned out to be, he came back obviously, but he seemed to be well knowledge. He knew what was going on. Another guy who's probably on
Oh
tour a
yeah,
lot and probably hard to keep on top of current events. But yeah, he was talking about Robbie Farah with me in the short few seconds that I had with him. So maybe he
yeah,
does deep
yeah.
down have
Oh,
that
I can talk
affiliation.
about
And
Robbie
obviously the
for
Scottish background,
yeah.
we've got that underdog mentality. That I think you're Scottish heritage yourself, I believe. They got that bit of underdog sort of mentality. Maybe
Yeah,
that's a bit of an appeal
yeah. Well,
for us as well.
yeah, right. Yeah. Well, you know, we get together. Yeah, my grandfather's Scottish, and we get together because I play the bagpipes, and Jimmy's learning bagpipes, and there's a side to Jimmy that's really uh, conscious of his Scottish, you know, where he came
Yeah,
from, and he has family gatherings, and Lockie from himself and a couple other guys go down, and we play, and he sings, you know, Scottish stuff, and
yeah,
we just sing Celtic music, and mate, he's just doing it for the love of it, you know.
yeah.
But we're actually on the road. One of the girls, our sound person, Tyra, she's Jimmy's granddaughter, and she's on the road with us, you know.
Oh
So
wow, cool.
real
Great, such
connection.
good
Yeah.
talented lines of that family.
What's that, mate?
The whole family are just so talented. Like
Oh, ridiculous.
Jackie plays the drums.
Ridiculous.
His girls are his backup singers, and they're great singers in their
Yeah.
own right.
And also Swanee, you know, Swanee, his brother, John
Yep,
Swan, he's
yep,
a bloody amazing singer as well, you know. So,
yeah.
yeah. And Tyra, the granddaughter, she sings in the sound checks. She's unbelievable.
Wow.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
some people, yeah, just good lines, obviously. Scottish,
Yeah.
yeah, Scotland are kind of known for a bit of musical. There's been plenty of good Scotsmen for rock stars over the years for such a small population,
Small.
I guess, compared to England.
I agree, mate. I had this discussion with Jimmy. I reckon you're going to laugh at this, but I'm a bagpiper.
Yeah,
And I think it's the bagpipes are the first rock and roll instrument.
yeah. Well, I saw John Farnham live last night. Actually, it was funny when I was messaging back and forth with you. I was actually in the mosh pit at John Farnham, and he had got the bagpipes out for
funny.
obviously for You're the Voice,
Yeah,
and then he finishes with Long Way to the
that's
Top.
great.
Yeah, so the bagpipes were going. It's very cool. Yeah,
That's great, mate.
yeah. It's just final question. I'll let you get back to getting ready for your next show. Do you get any Tigers fans come up to you at gigs?
Yeah.
Like Wiggles gigs, and you must obviously because you're in music mode, but you must have a bit of banter with Tigers fans when they come up to you.
Yeah, it's not even just like in the audience, Tigers fans like all over the place.
Yeah,
Where the Tigers jump up, mate. And it's I always say, well, we've got the best dressed gentleman out there wearing WestsLife jersey. Or, you know, we've had actually most of them brought his children to the show
Oh,
a couple
cool.
of weeks ago. We've had some Tigers legends over the years come along to the shows, and Keith Galloway. When we played in England, he came along. He was playing
That's
footy
cool.
over there, and Keith came along with all his kids. You know, so it's just great, mate.
That's awesome.
The Tigers family.
I was speaking
Yeah.
to Gary Jack actually the other day for this show, so his episode before you, and we were talking about just like being a Tigers fan, and it's actually hard to explain to someone what it's like who isn't one. It's like almost a religious experience. It's like you feel you meet someone who's a fan, and you instantly kind of have that connection with them.
I agree, mate. I totally agree. And then when you said Gary Jack, I just genuflected.
Yeah, I was the same too. Yeah, it's so cool that back to back, I speak to Gary and I speak to you. Yeah, it's really been a cool week. Yeah,
What a legend he is. Oh,
Yeah.
my goodness. I was thinking about the great moments of like the other day at the game at Leichhardt. We won. We played in the first round.
Manly.
Manly.
Yeah,
I was sitting behind Junior Pearce at Leichhardt, and I was just thinking about that the times I saw him playing at Leichhardt, and that
Yeah.
emotional victory lap, not the victory lap, the emotional lap he did at the end of his time, and just the great heritage tradition of the Balmain Tigers, and the West fans are the same with Tommy Donicus and all those guys. They're the same too. But I just love that it's still going. And I was watching Junior, just still got the passion for the tie. He was loving every minute of it.
Yeah.
And So,
Yeah, he walked past me actually. I was lined up to get a pie, and he literally walked past. And it took me a split second because he was in a business shirt from memory. But he just once you catch eye and everyone kind of sees who he just has a real aura about him. Junior does, especially when you're at Leichhardt Oval.
Yeah, and it looks like he could still play. He's so fit still.
He's fit as, isn't he? Yeah, he's in his mid-50s and looked like he could still put on the boots.
Could I ask you a question, Josh? What is your most heartbreaking moment in your Tigers?
Most heartbreaking
West
moment?
Tigers or Balmain Tigers? Yeah, I think I've got
so many.
most heartbreaking moment.
I think you mentioned it before. I think that Jamie Soward field goal in the semi-final 2010 would probably be there because I really thought that we should have won the grand final that year. Because if you look back, if we had beaten the Roosters, by the way the top 8 was then, the Roosters would have been eliminated. We would have played the Titans, who we would have had their number in the semi-final. So at the very least, we should have been in the grand final against the Dragons that year. And to lose by a field goal, and even in the final minute, we made a break down the sideline. I think Bo Ryan chased a kick and Dragons kicked it out.
That's right.
I think there's been a lot of heartbreaking moments, but I always look back at that one. 2011, we had Krishnan Inu broke our heart there. But I just think that just to be 1 point from another grand final... and then, I mean, to not know you're not going to make the semis for at least another 8 years, it's still going. It's, you look back and you think it's just one that got away. So what about yourself?
That one's for the West Tigers for sure. That I was jumping up and down. We're going to the semis. I was going crazy. But anyway, and then that happened. No, the most heartbreaking moment for the Tigers, Balmain Tigers, was when Ellery Hanley got collared by Terry Lamb.
I talked to Gary about this,
Oh, you did?
I did,
It was dreadful, to be honest with you. But it was also all our hopes just went down the drain because that guy was so talented. It was pretty hardcore too. But not saying I think he did. It was pretty. They got him. You know what I mean?
I read in Benny Elias's autobiography at half time. They were kind of saying, "Come on, Ellery, you got to," and he just couldn't. He said he was out of it. He was gone because they tried to put him back on. And Gary said he saw the incident because cameras didn't really catch it that well. There's not really any good footage of the incident himself. And Gary's like, "Yeah, I remember the incident very, very fondly." It's the year I was born too, so it ruined the year I was born.
I was at the game. I
was
at the game. I went, "Oh my God! What have they done?"
No sin bin, or anything.
What's that, mate?
There was no sin. Terry Lamb wasn't even sent off or anything for it as well. Which
no, they were the days.
Yeah.
And the other great moment was of the characters was when Blocker patted the head of the ref.
Yep, I've seen footage of that. Yeah.
Oh man! And then he got suspended. Blocker was suspended. And they sent him over to England to try and play a couple of games to do his suspension in England. But at the last minute, and we all thought he's going to be right, but at the last minute,
they changed the rules or something, didn't they?
On that. Yeah, they changed the rules. But it was great, man. Yeah. Anyway.
No, I hear a lot of stories because I was born in '88, so that kind of ruined the year I was born. Would have been cool to be in the year of the Tiger. Yeah. In 1989 too. Obviously, the heartbreak. I was telling Gary last week. My mum and my dad are both. Well, my mum was when she was alive. They were both Tigers fans, and they literally popped champagne at half time because the lead
Yeah.
was that kind of lead was insurmountable.
At our house out at Kellyville, I remember making an announcement, gentlemen, the cup is ours, and we started getting and then Warren Ryan took Ciro and Blocker off.
Yep.
If I remember correctly, it's just from
Yeah,
memory.
Gary said that as well. Yeah.
And that changed the game. We were going, what is he doing? And then it all went down. Oh, it was I forgot about that, mate. I think I just pushed that in the back of my head, so I don't have to remember.
Well, apparently Junior's never watched the game. He never, ever watched the replay. He can't bring himself to do it.
Yeah, I'm just because I haven't watched it back either, but if I remember correctly, Junior's just collapsed on the ground after.
Yeah. I used to you could hire the video out the video shop when I was a kid, and obviously I was too young to see it, so I made myself watch it a couple of times, and just Benny's field goal, there was so many, you watch it back and there was so many small, Gary Jack also mentioned a penalty that was given away that Bill Harrigan admitted years later that probably shouldn't have been a penalty, and just so many little moments that would have changed the course of history, but what can you do, I guess?
Yeah, bloody hell. I'm now on a downer for the next Wiggle show.
Oh, sorry, but think of 2005. Bryce Gibbs scored a try. Todd Payton scored a try.
Yeah. Do you know, before we go, Josh, last year, I was at the game, Bulldogs versus Tigers, where we got beaten, where we should not have got beaten.
Yeah.
And it was basically the same team. Okay, sure, they've lost Moses Zamboy and the Morris fella.
Yeah.
But so I'm not going in today going, we should win this.
Yeah.
But I remember last year I was just so disappointed. But that's going to be the difference in the Tigers this year.
Yeah.
If they win games that they're supposed to win.
Yeah,
because
that's it.
Last year they were losing games that they should have won and winning games they shouldn't have won. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
weird.
definitely. I feel like the difference I noticed on the side this year is we have size and we have power and strength, whereas in years past it almost was like we're kids playing against adults, and we seem like we're adults. Like against the Warriors, we absolutely steamrolled the Warriors, which isn't an easy thing to do. So fingers crossed that'll be a difference this year.
Yeah, and also my old football, Robbie Farah's back, and I'm so happy, mate.
Yeah, I've seen on Twitter you're a big pro Farah, like many of us are. Yeah, but it is awesome to have him back and seeing him play so well. He's amazing. Yeah,
and when it all went down, I was really close to Robbie, and I actually was honoured to sit next to Robbie at his the day that he did the walk around
against the Raiders.
I was sitting next to him, and all he ever wanted was to do the 200 games there, and but when he wasn't even allowed to do that, I thought it was very petty. But I don't want to. It's good to move on now, and it's worked out beautifully, because I actually wrote to him last week and said, "Come on, mate, 2 more years."
He looks like he could.
He's rocking, mate.
Yeah.
So I just hope he does. It's good to see Benji out there too. A different Benji to the Benji of old, but
a wiser head.
Amazing. Yeah, like a really. I guess he's a subtle Benji, incredible, tribute to the coach too, mate, at the moment. We're going well.
Yeah. No, it's good to have the fairy tale. We might not have many success stories, but we've got plenty of good fairy tales. So, that's what being a Tigers fan is all about.
Yeah. Rocking, mate.
Well,
yeah.
Anthony, I'll let you...
I better go, mate. We're going on pretty soon. We've got 4 shows today.
Yeah.
This was fun, man.
You're like a elite athlete yourself, doing that day after day. So have a good show. Don't think about 89. Think about 2005 and the future. Think about the future.
It's really got through to me, that 89. Oh, my God.
Yeah. No. Well, block it. Put it back down. Put it back down.
See you, John. Go to the Tigers, mate.